Hey, English learners! Welcome to the Easy English Podcast from English Life Channel, your calm place to practice useful English through simple, real-life conversations. I'm Sarah.
And I'm Alex. Sarah, last night I sent you a picture of my new morning plan.
You did. It was colorful, neat, and almost impossible.
Impossible? I thought it was my best plan ever.
Alex, you plan to exercise, cook lunch, answer messages, practice English, review your work notes, and leave home early.
When you read it aloud, it sounds like 3 mornings, not one.
Yes, and one useful skill can help when a plan like that starts going wrong.
Let me guess. A louder alarm?
Helpful, but no. Today's topic is self-discipline.
Self-discipline.
Self-discipline means doing the most important thing, even when your morning goes wrong. It doesn't mean finishing everything. It means choosing what matters and not giving up on the whole day.
I needed that today because my perfect plan died at exactly 8:12.
At exactly 8:12, what happened?
I burned my toast, couldn't find a clean shirt, and spent 10 minutes looking for a work document. When I checked the time, every task was late.
And you thought, I've already failed today.
I did. One difficult morning made me feel like I was terrible at planning.
That feeling is familiar. One small problem happens, and suddenly we want to throw away the whole plan.
Yes, but maybe self-discipline isn't about finishing every task.
Maybe it begins with choosing the right task. So, what happened after 8:12? Did you throw away the entire plan?
I almost did. I stood in the kitchen with one shoe on, holding a piece of cold toast, and stared at the colored blocks on my phone. Every block had moved. Exercise was gone. My messages were late. My English practice was now sitting on top of the time I needed to travel.
What were you saying to yourself?
I was thinking, other people can follow a schedule. Why can't I? Then I started moving every unfinished task into the evening.
So your evening was becoming a storage room for everything the morning couldn't hold.
Exactly. By 8:20, I had created an evening with no dinner, no rest, and no space for anything unexpected. I was making the same mistake in a different part of the day.
When did you notice that?
When I tried to place one more task at 10:45 at night, I looked at the calendar and thought, when am I supposed to be a person?
That was the right question. A plan has to leave space for the person following it.
So I sat down and asked a simpler question. What truly needs my attention today?
What was the answer?
The client call at 2. I needed to understand 3 pages of notes before it began. That task had a real deadline, and another person was depending on me.
What did you do with everything else?
I removed 4 tasks. I didn't move them into the evening. I removed them, then I answered one urgent message, traveled to work, and protected 40 minutes for the client notes.
What about the English practice and the workout?
They could happen on another day. 2 messages didn't need an answer that morning either. None of those things were bad. They simply weren't the priority that day.
How did removing them feel?
At first, it felt like giving up. My plan looked less impressive, and there were large empty spaces where my beautiful colored blocks had been.
But were you ready for the call?
Yes. I read the notes, marked my questions, and joined without rushing. The call went well. Nothing dramatic happened. I was simply prepared.
That was discipline in action. You didn't complete 7 tasks. You protected one important responsibility.
I had spent the whole morning calling myself undisciplined. In reality, the plan was the problem. I had asked one morning to carry too much.
There is a useful word for that. You overcommitted.
So I gave myself more work than my time could hold.
Exactly. To overcommit means to agree to more than you can realistically do. We often do it because we feel excited at night and imagine that tomorrow will be easy.
Tomorrow always looks energetic from a distance.
Then it arrives with traffic, laundry, slow computers, and a body that needs breakfast.
And when we overcommit, it becomes harder to follow through.
Right. To follow through means to do what you decided or promised to do. One realistic promise that you keep is more useful than 5 impressive promises that you abandon.
So how can someone choose the one task to protect?
Ask 3 practical questions. Does it have a real deadline? Is another person depending on it? Will delaying it create a serious problem for my work, health, family, or peace of mind?
A new message may be loud, but that doesn't automatically make it important.
Exactly. A message can wait on the screen. A meeting at 2 cannot wait until tomorrow.
Let's make this practical for listeners.
Think about your next busy day. Choose one responsibility that deserves protected time. Then choose one less important task that can wait if your day changes.
Say 2 complete sentences in your own way. For example, tomorrow, I will protect 30 minutes for my medical appointment. If work becomes busy, organizing my old emails can wait.
Or, tomorrow, I will protect time for dinner with my family. If I get home late, cleaning the storage cupboard can wait.
I'll use this one. Tomorrow, I will protect time for reviewing the client account. If the morning becomes busy, organizing my old files can wait.
That is clear and realistic. You are not saying the files never matter. You are deciding what matters first.
This changes how I understand discipline. Sometimes following through requires saying no to part of my own plan.
Yes, but saying no to a task on your calendar is easier than saying no to another person.
Definitely. A colored block doesn't have feelings. A coworker might.
I used to worry about that too, and it led to a very uncomfortable Tuesday.
What happened?
I was working on a monthly report that had to be sent before 3. The work wasn't difficult, but I had several numbers to check. One wrong number could change the conclusion.
So you needed a quiet period.
I did. At 10:30, a coworker sent me a message asking whether I could look at some presentation slides. The request sounded small. Could you take a quick look?
A quick look can easily become an hour.
That was my first thought. My second thought was, if I don't help now, I'll seem selfish.
Did you say yes?
I typed, sure, no problem. My finger was almost on the send button.
Almost?
I stopped because I knew it wasn't an honest answer. There was a problem, and I wasn't sure I could help without making my report late.
So you weren't refusing to help. You just couldn't help at that moment.
Exactly. I checked my schedule and saw that I could review the slides after 2:30. Then I wrote, I'm finishing the monthly report until 2:30. I can look at the slides after that. Will that timing work for you?
That's polite and clear. What did your coworker say?
The later time was completely fine.
So you had imagined a problem that wasn't there.
Yes, I had nearly damaged one promise because I was afraid to delay a second one.
People sometimes confuse being reliable with being available every minute.
And they are not the same. A reliable person gives an honest answer and keeps the promise they make. Saying yes immediately is not reliable if you cannot follow through.
This is where the expression, draw the line, is useful.
Right. To draw the line means to set a clear limit. It doesn't mean speaking rudely or refusing everything. It means saying what you can and cannot do.
For example, I can answer urgent work messages in the evening, but I draw the line at answering ordinary messages after midnight.
Or, I can help with one extra task, but I have to draw the line when my main work may become late.
My problem is that my mouth sometimes says yes before my brain checks the calendar.
Then give your brain a sentence that creates time.
Which sentence?
Let me check what I need to finish first. You can also say, I can't do that right now, but I can help after lunch.
Let's try a short situation. Ask me for help while I'm busy.
Alex, could you check these numbers for me right now?
Let me check what I need to finish first. I can look at them after 3. Will that work?
Perfect. You didn't give a false yes, and you offered a real time.
Listeners can try the same response. I need to finish this first. I can help you after 3.
Change the task or time to match your life. You might say, I need to finish cooking first. I can call you this evening.
Does the same idea work outside the office? Saying no to a friend or family member can feel even harder.
It does. Imagine that your sister calls while you are leaving for an appointment. You want to talk, but you cannot listen properly while you are rushing.
I could say, I want to hear about it, but I'm leaving for an appointment now. Can I call you at 8?
That answer is warmer than pretending to listen while checking the time every 10 seconds.
And if 8 is too late, she can tell me. Then we can choose another time together.
Exactly. A clear limit does not end the conversation. It gives the conversation a time when you can be fully present.
A boundary only works if we keep the new promise, though.
Exactly. I still had to return to the slides after 2:30. Drawing the line protected my report, but following through protected my coworker's trust.
So discipline is not always saying yes, and it is not always saying no. It is giving an honest answer and doing what you said you would do.
And sometimes the pressure doesn't come from another person. Sometimes it comes from a strong feeling inside us.
I know exactly where this conversation is going.
Do you?
To the message I almost sent last Thursday.
Tell me what happened.
I was coming home after a long day. The bus was crowded, I hadn't eaten since lunch, and my phone battery was at 6%. Those are not ideal conditions for a calm conversation.
Tired, hungry, and holding a nearly dead phone. Continue.
Earlier that day, I had written a short message in a group chat about a project. I said that we should keep the plan simple because the deadline was close.
That sounds reasonable.
Someone replied in a way that made me think they had misunderstood me. Their message suggested that I did not respect the work everyone had already done.
And that wasn't what you meant.
Not at all. I was worried about the deadline, but when I read their reply on the bus, I felt accused. My face became hot, and I started typing immediately.
What did you write?
A long message explaining everything that was wrong with their argument. It included the phrase, "as I already clearly explained," which is rarely the beginning of a peaceful conversation.
That phrase usually arrives wearing a very serious jacket.
And carrying a large folder of complaints. I read my message once, but I wasn't checking whether it was kind or useful. I was checking whether it sounded strong enough.
What did you believe would happen if you waited?
I thought everyone would decide that I was wrong. It felt urgent. My thumb was over the send button.
Before you tell us what happened, let's give listeners the choice. If you were tired, angry, and sitting on that bus, would you send the message, delete it, or save it somewhere private and read it later?
I wish I could say that I calmly chose the best answer.
You didn't?
The bus entered a tunnel, and my signal disappeared.
So the tunnel made the first decision for you.
For about 30 seconds. But those 30 seconds were enough. I looked at the message when I couldn't send it, and I suddenly heard how angry it sounded.
What did you do when the signal returned?
I copied the message into my notes, deleted it from the group chat, and put my phone in my pocket. When I got home, I placed the phone face down and made something to eat.
Did dinner solve the disagreement?
It solved part of the emergency. After food and a quiet hour, I read the draft again. My main concern was still reasonable, but the way I had written it would have created a second problem.
The original problem was the misunderstanding. The new problem would have been your tone.
Exactly. I did not send anything that night. Waiting felt uncomfortable, but I knew an angry answer would not improve the project.
What did you write the next morning?
I sent a much shorter message. I think my earlier message sounded colder than I intended. I was only concerned about the schedule. I may have misunderstood your reply too. Can we clear this up?
That gives the other person room to explain.
It did. We discovered that we were worried about the same deadline. Their message had also been written quickly. The problem became smaller when neither of us was trying to win.
People often describe this as the difference between reacting immediately and choosing a calmer response. In ordinary English, react and respond can have similar meanings. Here, the useful idea is simply to create enough time to choose your words.
So discipline didn't mean pretending that I wasn't angry.
No. You noticed the anger, but you did not let the first angry draft become the final message.
That is much clearer. The feeling was real, but I still had a choice about what to send.
A useful sentence in that moment is, I need a little time to think before I answer.
Another is, I may have misunderstood what you meant.
I may have misunderstood what you meant.
That sentence doesn't say you are wrong. It shows that you are willing to check before continuing the argument.
Let's hear how that could sound in a short conversation. I'll play the other person. Alex, your message made it sound as if our earlier work was a waste of time.
I may have misunderstood what you meant, and my message may have sounded too cold. I respect the work. I was worried that the current plan would take longer than the time we have.
So your concern is the deadline, not the work we have already completed?
Exactly. Could we keep the strongest parts and simplify the rest?
That response explains your concern without attacking the other person.
It also gives them something specific to answer. We are discussing the plan now, not deciding who is a bad person.
What if someone cannot wait until the next morning?
Even 1 minute can help. Take a breath, read the message twice, and remove any sentence that attacks the person instead of discussing the problem.
And if your first draft is angry, move it somewhere private so you cannot send it by accident.
Some of my private drafts deserve a long and peaceful retirement.
They can live quietly in a folder no one visits.
This is another kind of boundary. I can express my first reaction privately, but I draw the line before sending words that will make the situation worse.
Good use of draw the line. You are not ignoring the problem. You are choosing a better way to address it.
And that brings us to another moment when urgency can control our choices.
A few weeks ago, I almost spent a large amount of money because of a red countdown clock.
A red countdown clock? What were you buying, a ticket to the moon?
Noise-canceling headphones. Very good ones, according to the page I had been reading for 40 minutes.
40 minutes is enough time to become emotionally connected to a pair of headphones.
Apparently, it was nearly midnight and I had finished a difficult day. An advertisement appeared with a large discount. The page said the offer would end in 15 minutes.
So the decision suddenly felt urgent.
Very urgent. I had not planned to buy headphones that day. Mine still worked, although one side sometimes made a small clicking sound. But the new pair looked comfortable and professional. I could already imagine myself working calmly with them in a perfectly organized room.
You were not only buying headphones, you were buying an imaginary, more organized Sarah.
Exactly. I added them to my cart, entered my address, and reached the payment page. The clock showed 12 minutes.
What were you thinking?
If I don't buy them now, I'm losing money. This is my only chance.
You had to spend money so that you wouldn't lose money.
The logic sounds weaker when you say it slowly, but in that moment, the discount felt like a closing door.
What stopped you?
I remembered what I was saving for. I had an important appointment the following month, and I wanted extra money available for it. The headphones would not destroy my budget, but they would make that goal less comfortable.
So a planned responsibility was competing with an unplanned desire.
Right. I wrote 3 questions in my notes. Do my current headphones still work? Would I want this new pair if there were no red clock? Which planned expense will become harder if I buy them tonight?
Did those questions make you stop wanting them?
No, I still wanted them. Discipline did not remove the desire. It helped me delay the decision. I closed the page and said, I want them, but I don't have to decide tonight.
And the countdown continued without you.
It did. I went to bed feeling as if I had left an important opportunity behind.
This is where we can say, sleep on it.
Yes, to sleep on it means to wait until the next day before making a decision.
Just to be clear, You did not put the headphones under your pillow.
No headphones were used as bedding.
How did the decision feel in the morning?
Much less urgent. The headphones still looked attractive, but I could see that the countdown and my tired mood had pushed me toward the purchase. I decided not to buy them.
Did you regret it?
No. A few days later, the same discount appeared again.
The only chance returned from the dead.
Many online emergencies do, but waiting does not always mean saying no. Sometimes you sleep on a decision and still decide to buy the item.
That happened with my desk chair. I waited several days, checked the measurements, considered how many hours I work at my desk, and then bought it. The chair was worth the cost because I needed it and could afford it.
Good example. Waiting gave you a clearer yes.
Let's give listeners a quick situation. Imagine that a sale ends tonight. The item looks exciting, but the one you already own still works, and you are saving for an important bill. What would you do?
You could say, I want it, but I don't need to decide tonight. I will sleep on it.
I want it, but I don't need to decide tonight. I will sleep on it.
That sentence respects the desire without obeying the countdown clock.
But sometimes a deadline is real. A concert ticket might truly sell out, or registration for a useful course might close that evening.
Then you may not be able to sleep on it, but you can still pause. Check the date, the total cost, your budget, and whether you genuinely want to attend. A 5-minute check is better than letting a red clock make the entire decision.
So waiting is a tool, not an automatic rule.
Exactly. The goal is a clear decision. Sometimes that decision is no, sometimes it is yes, and sometimes it is not. Tonight.
So far, discipline has helped us remove a task, delay a request, pause before sending a message, and wait before buying something.
There is one more side that people often miss. Sometimes discipline means knowing when to stop.
You're talking about my presentation, aren't you?
I am. You told me you worked very hard on it.
I did work hard. The problem is that the useful work ended at 9:10, and I continued until almost 11 o'clock.
What were you doing during those extra hours?
At 9:10, the message was clear, the numbers were correct, and the slides were complete. Then I changed the title font. The new font made the headings look wrong, so I changed all the headings. Then I moved a photograph, replaced an icon, adjusted the space between two lines, and finally returned to the original title font.
So after nearly 2 hours, the title had completed a long journey back to where it began.
Yes, a very educational journey.
Why didn't you stop at 9:10?
I kept thinking, a disciplined person doesn't stop while improvement is still possible. Every time I tried to close the laptop, I noticed one more tiny detail.
Were those changes helping the people who would see the presentation?
Most of them were not. They made me feel busy. I was nervous about speaking, and changing the design gave me a task that felt easier to control.
So the extra work was helping you avoid the harder work, practicing what you wanted to say.
Exactly. I went to bed late and rehearsed only once the next morning. During the presentation, nobody mentioned the title font. They did ask a question that I could have answered more smoothly if I had practiced.
How did you discover how much time you had spent?
I checked the file history. I had spent 70 minutes changing the first 3 slides after the content was already finished.
You got carried away.
I became so involved that I continued longer than I intended.
Right. We can get carried away while working, shopping, talking, or watching videos. We become deeply involved and stop noticing the time or cost.
Getting carried away with work can look like strong discipline from the outside.
But more time does not always produce more value. In your case, the extra design work left you too tired to practice.
What could I have done differently at 9:10?
Before starting, you could have written a simple definition of done.
What would that look like?
Write 3 clear conditions that tell you the task is ready. For your presentation, they could be, the main message is clear every number has been checked, and the talk fits within 8 minutes.
If those 3 things are complete, I can stop even if one icon could still move 2 millimeters to the left.
Especially then.
Could this work with ordinary tasks too, not only presentations?
Certainly. Imagine that you are cleaning the kitchen after a long workday. Your 3 conditions might be: the dishes are washed, the food is put away, and the counter is clear.
Once those are done, I do not need to organize every cupboard at 11 at night.
Right. Or consider an important email. It is ready when the question has been answered, the tone is polite, and the correct file is attached.
That last condition could save someone from sending a second email titled, "Sorry, here is the attachment."
A very common email. Clear conditions help us check what matters without polishing forever.
I tested this idea with another presentation. Before I began, I wrote the 3 conditions on a small note beside my computer. At 9:20, I checked each one and closed the laptop.
Did stopping feel comfortable?
Not immediately. I knew I could still make small changes. I walked toward the kitchen and nearly returned to the desk.
What stopped you?
I read the note again. My promise was not to make the presentation impossible to improve. My promise was to make it clear, correct, and ready to present. I had followed through.
So you called it a day.
Yes. To call it a day means to stop working because you have done enough for that day.
It does not always mean the entire project is permanently finished. It means this work period is finished.
I called it a day, ate dinner while it was warm, and slept properly. The next morning, I practiced with a clear head. That presentation felt much better.
Some people may worry that stopping means accepting poor work.
But the standard should match the task. An important contract or financial report needs careful checking. A casual message does not need 40 minutes of polishing.
Exactly. Discipline means meeting the right standard and then stopping. It does not mean lowering every standard.
And if I am unsure about a small design choice late at night, I can sleep on it instead of changing the whole presentation.
That works. You can also draw the line before late-night changes that do not improve the main message.
These situations looked different. An overloaded calendar, a coworker's request, an angry message, a sale, and a presentation that would not end.
But every situation required a clear choice.
In the morning, I had to stop overcommitting and protect one important task.
At work, I had to draw the line and offer an honest time.
On the bus, I needed a pause before answering.
With the headphones, I could sleep on the decision.
And with the presentation, I had to stop getting carried away and call it a day.
Choose one of those ideas for your own life. Say one complete sentence aloud. You might say, "Tomorrow I will protect 30 minutes for preparing my report." Or, "Tonight I will call it a day at 9 and get enough sleep."
My sentence is, "Tomorrow I will protect time for the client review, and I will let the old files wait."
Our question for you is simple. What is one thing you want to protect tomorrow? Write one clear English sentence in the comments.
And Sarah, if I create another 7-color morning plan tonight, please take my calendar away.
I won't take it away. I'll just ask whether Morning Alex has finally grown those 4 hands.
Fair enough. Choose clearly, speak kindly, and protect what matters.
If this conversation helped you, like the video and subscribe to English Life channel for more natural English practice. Thank you for spending this time with us. We'll talk with you again soon.